In a moment, I will invite President Bongo of Gabon to speak on behalf of this broad coalition of African and Asian nations. But first, I want to recognize a number of additional supporters of this effort who are here with us today. I'm pleased to welcome senior members of the Obama administration, including Kathy Novelli, Undersecretary of State for Economic Growth, Energy, and Environment, Dr. Michelle Gadd of the Fish and Wildlife Service, and former Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy, Judith McHale, who chairs President Obama's Advisory Council on Wildlife Trafficking. I'm very grateful that the Obama administration has made this a major priority in the last year, and these three women are key to the implementation of that. I'm also delighted that representatives of Singapore and Cambodia are with us. East Asia represents the biggest market for illegal ivory, so the presence and support of these nations sends a particularly encouraging message. Now, it is my great pleasure to call to the stage the following: His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete, President of the Republic of Tanzania. His Excellency Binilith Mahengi, the Minister of the Environment of the Republic of Tanzania. His Excellency Bongo Ondimba, President of the Gabonese Republic. His Excellency Pham Binh Minh, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. His Excellency Harry Kalaba, Foreign Minister of the Republic of Zambia. Mrs. Dominique Ouattara, First Lady of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. And the Honorable Catherine Novelli, United States Undersecretary of State for Economic Growth, Energy, and the Environment. And now please welcome President Bongo, who will speak on behalf of the African and Asian nations that are both gathered here and those who are working with us. Mr. President, please sit down.
Dear Presidents, my dear colleagues, Secretary Clinton, ministers, ambassadors, distinguished representatives of NGOs and civil society, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, at the invitation of Hillary and Chelsea, I joined several of my fellow African presidents, as well as NGO leaders, on stage here at the Clinton Global Initiative. Our aim was to shine the international spotlight on ivory poaching crisis in Africa and to make a commitment to work together to turn the tide. In London in February of this year, at the invitation of Her Majesty's government and their Royal Highnesses Princes Charles, William, and Harry, we convened again to discuss global solutions to wildlife crime. It was at that event that Gabon, home of 2/3 of the forest elephants, joined with Botswana, home of 2/3 of the savanna elephants, as well as Chad, Ethiopia, and Tanzania, to launch the African Protection Initiative, EPI. Our intention was threefold. Firstly, to create a platform that would stimulate African governments to come together and develop African solutions to save our iconic elephant. Secondly, to encourage consumer nations to take action to close all illegal markets for ivory, specifically calling for at least a 10-year moratorium on ivory trade, with the intention to maintain the moratorium until elephant populations have recovered. And thirdly, to encourage partner governments and NGOs to mobilize the technical and financial support in tandem with our own commitments that will be necessary to secure a viable future for elephants throughout their range. It is very promising that we have been able to bring EPI and CGI together today. And I take this opportunity to encourage you all to join with EPI and CGI in calling for a moratorium and to work with us to undertake concrete actions to save Africa's elephants. Our collective actions will determine the future of Africa's savanna and forest elephants. Unfortunately, in the past decade, we have seen a resurgence in poaching. Indeed, in many places, it has become a massacre, and the elephants have become refugees, forever on the move in their attempt to dodge the poachers' bullets. The brutality of the poachers can be shocking, sometimes firing Kalashnikov rounds into elephant legs to immobilize them, and then hacking the tusks and trunk off as their victim writhes in agony. If there were humans, this would be classified as war crimes and genocide. But the same poachers do not hesitate to fire upon our wildlife rangers, leaving literally hundreds of conservation widows and children, orphans, mourning their husbands and fathers. I think you will all agree with me. The killing has to stop now. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, that was so excellent. Thank you so much. We're now going to ask some of our commitment makers to join us along with the presidents and other distinguished officials. Rick Holtzman, Animal Planet, Dr. Layli Lichtenberg, African People and Wildlife Fund, Dr. Patrick Bergen, African Wildlife Foundation, Andy Wilson, Conservation International, Dr. Peyton West, Frankfurt Zoological Society in the United States, Azadine Downs, International Fund for Animal Welfare, Christian Dietrich of Interpol, Jenny Lombardo, Made for New York Fashion Week, Nick Redding, Safe Kenya, Dr. Ian Douglas Hamilton, Save the Elephants, Brian Finley, the Stimson Center, Glenn Prickett, the Nature Conservancy, Sean Wilmore, the Thin Green Line International Ranger Federation, Dr. Christian Samper, Wildlife Conservation Society, Jeanette Helmley, World Wildlife Fund. These are very important NGOs who are working on the front lines, working with the leaders and others whom you see before you. And we are so grateful to each and every one of these commitment makers. Please recognize the importance of their mission and their dedication to being successful on behalf of the African elephant.
Ladies and gentlemen, the plenary session is now concluded. Thank you.